Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. For the YouTube viewers, if you're one of the person who's seeing this video for the very first time, accidentally maybe, or you willfully click on it, you might not understand what I'm doing right here because the theory we use is called wave analysis theory. It's based on Elliott wave and Dow theory and a few other things, and this is something I personally created. So if you're getting difficulty understanding what I do, I would encourage you to follow to the end. I will encourage you to go and watch some more of my videos because the forecasts are super accurate. Now, what you do with the forecast is up to you. If you want to learn how to trade the forecast, if you want to learn how to read these patterns correctly, you can join us. To join me, again, look in the description or under any video, you will see immediately my Skype is there. That's the first thing. Once you click on the video, under the video, in the description, there's my Skype. Send me a Skype message, say you're interested, and we will give you all the details. Now, if you can't afford to pay for the course in full, we have an installment program. What does that allow you to get? Because yesterday I got 10 messages on tell me more about the installment program. It is for traders who cannot afford to pay immediately for the course, but are trading actively. You start paying at a minimum sum that you can afford, which is, I think we're working on like $200 a month. That is not a subscription. Again, that is not a subscription. That goes for installment of the course. Once your course fee is there, you don't pay a single cent for the rest of your life, right? So while you're doing that installment, we will give you these daily webinars free every single day. You're not only going to get the daily webinars, you're going to get much more, but I'm not going to go into all of that here. If you're serious about joining, the much more is irrelevant to that, right? Like I said, this is not a hype to sell you anything. This is information. If I wanted to sell you, I'll tell you it's worth 20,000. I'm giving you for 2,000 or some crazy stuff like that. Or I'm giving you some coronavirus reduction. We're not doing all of that. No, you're not going to get it. Not Black Friday reduction, not New Year's reduction, not coronavirus reduction. I'm not in the business of selling anything to you. If you want to learn this, if you really want to learn this, if you're serious about it, if you feel this is what you want to do for the rest of your life, you want to understand this structure, even if you just want to understand it, not be a trader for the rest of your life, but you would like to understand the wave analysis structure, you can join us. You have to be serious about it. Serious people don't go for hypes. So I think I've made my point, right? Let's move on. Watch the videos. If you're watching me for the first time, go watch some more of the videos. It's going to be difficult for you to understand my accent. It's going to be difficult for you to understand the way I speak English. And it's going to be difficult for you to understand the patterns I'm doing. But if you watch 20 of my videos, you will pick the accent up. You will understand my English, and you will understand some of the patterns. Hope that helps. Let's go. We're looking at the start from dollar index. We're starting with dollar index. It's still going down. I still think these are pullbacks that are going to be correction. We will watch it at this level. I will watch it when we get here. I don't think it's turning, but if it does turn, we will retest the top, right? If this does turn from this point, we will retest the top. Now, we don't have a sign that it's turning. All it's doing is pulling back, and that's not anything as yet, right? If they pull back enough like this and make a flag here, then we will consider we're going up. As of now, we're selling, right? So if you sold and you're out of the trade, if you sold this, you got out. If you sold this, you got out. If you sold that, you got out. You're taking off the trade because it's not going. Which means if this comes back here and then start to fall, we're going to have a big correction here. So on the downside, any flag would be a sell. Any flag would be a sell setup. Any correction, bigger correction here now. I think this is all this correction. It could be a bigger correction. They could come back all the way to the top here and then drop. If we see this, first we would buy the flag here. And if it goes very slow like this, we'll take off the trade and look for the sell. If it goes well that we can keep the trade, we'll keep it. Right? Like I said, trading these patterns has its own, technique, strategies. What we are looking at is what is the pattern doing right now. Right now, it's not confirming anything. There were sell setups. Those turned out to be break-even trades. They didn't go anywhere. So we'll watch it today to see is it making a more complex pattern here, or is it still going? If it's still going, then I'm always going to make a small pattern here and we'll sell it. So on silver, magic works, right? Remember this, I told you is going to get bigger. We'll come break the top or we broke the top. We're looking for a sell setup. Surprise, we're still looking for a sell setup. Can it go a little higher? Of course. It could work its way back all the way back to the top. Even break this top. This is not a buy setup as it stands right now, but it could become a buy setup, right? If this becomes more of a correction here, come back here, we would look for buys. That would take about 6 to 8 hours. So maybe tomorrow morning you will get that information. My traders might get it this afternoon. Right now, if we get a flag, that will take about 3 hours or 4 hours. If we get a flag here, we're selling. So the first setup we're looking for is a flag for the sell. If that doesn't happen, it will be a flat, small flat for a buy. That will be tomorrow. So let's see if we get that trade. Gold. Yesterday, we anticipated that this will come to break this top, which I still think this could do. And then if you get this pattern, what you're likely going to have is a sell setup, right? Because this is a huge consolidation in this area here. Normally, when you get those huge, here's a good example. When you get that huge sorry guys, when you get these huge consolidations, you go in the direction that they're already going. So there will be a trade here today on gold, most likely in the New York session. I think this is going to go back some more, right? This could go some more, break this top, and then it doesn't have to, but I think they'll break the top and then go. In this case, it could be a contracting flat. We've had a few of those. Euro. 1 second, guys. Give me a second. My apologies. Very sorry about that. Let's go. Yeah. So Euro. Euro is kind of break out of this, right? But this was a sharp one. And it's going slow. So I see this is probably either a small running flat for upside or it will come here and then go. If we see this coming here, we'll look for a flat pattern and then we'll look for the buy setup. See these flat patterns here? Downside, well, we're going up. So if we get a flat here, is upside. So you would say, can we get a sell setup? Can we sell this to the downside? And again, I don't think so because I'm looking at this and this. I would put a buy entry here rather than a sell. If this takes off, that's a small running flat for upside. But as of now, it could become a small running flat, but they can also work their way down lower. And this would be 1, 2, 3, then upside. If you put an entry order here and it works its way down, you don't have to worry about that. You just have to take off the entry order and look for a different strategy whereby we buy here. Is this a sell setup for downside? As of now, no. We're not looking for that right now. Although this could still be a running flat, but this, because it came back to the top there, does not give us that information. Pound, you can buy. There was a small running flat there. This is a small running flat. You can buy this. It's still going up. It probably will go up some more. It hasn't gone anywhere very far. So if you bought it, you probably want, well, once it go back up, you can put it to break even. If not, you would have to decide when and where you want to buy. Aussie, this could be a good buy. If you bought already, great. If you bought here, you can just wait for this to go back up, put it to break even. If not, wait to see whether this gives you another running flat like this and then up. They make a lot of these small flats, a lot of them small flats and go. This was a bigger one. This was a small one. This was a small one. I think you're probably going to get another small one and go. It will likely break that top, even if we're going to go back down. Even if this is going to go back down, we'll likely break the top. But I can see them climbing more. You see, this one was very slow to a lot of pullback. So they'll probably just make a pullback and keep going. That's it. On the 1 hour, looks like a pullback right now. I don't see this as the complete running flat simply because this one is not so sharp. But put an entry order here. If this takes off, you get the trade. Right? If it goes slow, again, I'm giving you too much of that than I should give. You go slow, take it off, and we'll wait for it to come back here, then buy. So New Zealand, this is a perfect one. Right? Remember New Zealand when this was happening? And even when this was happening? I told you this pattern has to go out and break the top. And that's just the minimum requirement. Here is what we have in New Zealand. We have this whole structure. And this by itself, as it stands, is not confirming anything because we haven't broken the low. The only thing we can look at is a possibility for a contracting flat here and a slow up move. Now, this pattern is very rare, but it is common for New Zealand to do that, right? And this could take off. Or this would come back here break the low, go back up, come back, break the low, and then go. Those are the two possibilities right now that we can look at in this pattern. If you go back, this rare one that I was telling you about, and I've showed you a few of that, here is a good example, right? Where you get this, and your thought process would be, well, maybe this is going to try to go down. But then they go up because this part, this impulse actually belongs to a flat earlier, right? So this impulse could belong to this contracting flat. And that means this could slowly take its way up like that. So what would be the trade setup? If you have this way and that way, and again, I was telling my traders about a tweet I saw from a very, very, very popular person. I remember the name, but I'll not name the person in this one because it's not about the person. It's about the tweet that says somebody made a post like this. I think the chart was doing this or something like that, and somebody made a post like this with an arrow there, with an arrow here. And on his tweet, if you find it or you saw the tweet, congratulations to you, you saw something. He says, a post like this has more questions than answers. And I'm looking at that post and I'm like, no, actually, I can tell you exactly what the person meant. I can tell you exactly what the person is trying to say. Now, you cannot understand what that person is saying because you don't understand the method he's using. What the person is trying to use is a method called wave analysis. Now, it is incorrect as he put it. I will show you why it's incorrect, because this arrow should not be here. This one should be a consolidation, and this arrow should be there. And this should be downside and correction here, and then the arrow there. So as it stands, it's incorrect. But the idea is not incorrect. The idea the person is posting out is not incorrect. Now, you can only know that idea. I understand you have questions because you don't understand the method. It's like a doctor showing you what do you call Röntgen again? An X-ray. A doctor show you an X-ray and said, okay, see what you have here. And you're like, well, doc, I don't understand how to read this. And that's okay. You're not a doctor. So that person is not a wave trader. He doesn't understand what the charts are doing. He doesn't understand patterns. He doesn't understand how to read that chart. So of course he has more questions. Now, I hope you're one of the person who see a chart like that, understand it, even when there's a mistake in it. You can see the mistake and say, okay, I see it, I understand you, but there's a mistake there, right? It's a little amateurish to put it like that. So what we're looking for here, again, is a pattern. What would the pattern? Would the pattern go up or would it go down? And it could go both ways. That's the point. The point is it could go both ways. But I'm not trying to tell you that it is going to go both ways. I'm telling you it's going to go one out of two based on which pattern is going to form. And if it does this, then you do this. This is how you will trade it. If it does A, you're going to take a certain amount of actions to be in the trade. If it does B, then you would know what to do. Anybody who tells you from this point, I would say buy it, has no idea what he's doing. He's just guessing and hoping that he's right. If he says sell, it's a guess and hopes he's right. You can say both. You can say, okay, I'm long on this because it's going to go up as we're in an uptrend. Yeah, but who says it doesn't do this? And then go. Where would your stop be? Here, 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 here. Where would you put a stop? Or you're not putting any. That's also a strategy if you don't want to put any. The risk is different. So when you see something like that, what the person is saying to you, now that, like that's a little level. Now that we've broken the top, if they're going to come back down, we would wait for a flag here to sell, which means I would get a flag here in a 1 hour and I'll sell. Let me go back to the 1 hour. If this is going to go down, it is going to go a little more, make a flag here, and then I would sell. Hence the arrow showing you downside after a correction. If it is going to continue to go up, then I want to see a flag or a flat here, and I would buy. So I'm telling you right now, we have the possibility of a running flat. We see something like this. We're thinking, is that a possible running flat? And if it is a possible running flat, your entry order should go here. That's how we would trade it. I'm not making a trade call for you. I'm not telling you to trade it. I'm telling you that's what we would do. Now, we would also manage our risk by putting a stop on this trade based on our strategy. That's something I'm not telling you right now, right? And then we would also manage the trade if we're tagged in it, because it's not a fact that it will tag you and it will go. It could tag you and start to do this and then do this, right? So we would manage the trade once we're in it, because it has to take off like an impulse and keep going. If it keeps going, we're in it. But if it doesn't keep going, if it stops and starts, we will be out of the trade. And that is what trading is about, right? So if you have more questions than answers, I have the answers to your questions. Come. I should have told that to the person, but he's one big fundamental guru, so I don't want to get into a big argument over unnecessary things. But that is what we do. See, if you were following us, remember we bought this. We bought this. I think some of my traders got that sell. I can't remember. I didn't get it, but some of my traders got that sell. They would come out when the break of this low, because we know this was going to go back up. Some of my traders got this. They probably took break even. Now we're going to put an entry order on this, because if this goes, we won that trade. See? And that's it. That's it. It might not go, but that's okay. We'll be out of the trade. But because we see previously those patterns has happened in the New Zealand, it's likely it's going to happen again. Let's go. Swiss. Went up. This was a classical pattern for downside. It's going down. Now we broke the low. Every time you broke the low, it's very, very, very important to see what they do next. So what is it going to do next? Are we going to have a consolidation and a continuation? We will sell. Is it going to go back up to the top? Is there a possibility for that? If you go in the 4-hour and you look for what are the possibilities of this thing breaking the low and go back up, well, then we will end up in a bigger correction, right? If they go back up, this will become a bigger correction here, maybe something like this, and then we go. That would make sense. Right now, neither. We don't have the buy or the sell setup. I don't know which one is going to make today. But if we get a setup here for a sell, we'll definitely sell it. Yen came back to the top. So I told you, remember when we were buying it here, we bought it here, but I got another break. That it is likely going to go slowly. Well, it's slowly at the top. And when they come back to the top, I'm always expecting two things: a flat as a regular flat, or a flat as a running flat, and then go. Now, I love the running flat, because the running flat is confirming the upside. The regular flat is not confirming anything as yet. The regular flat is just confirming that you have an impulse to go down. It could continue to go, but if you have a running flat, they're definitely going to go back up. That's a 99% guarantee. So which one is it? We'll wait and see. If you were buying, like I said, if you bought anywhere here and you kept it, you may want to take profit and move it to break even. It's not a guarantee that this is going to be taking off like a rocket. We have a sharp one here, and that means we're expecting one more down. Is it going to be today? Do we get this, or does it go up a little more and then do this? Either way, we look for a sell here, and then we look for the buy, because I think it's a flat for upside. CAD is coming back close to this low. Let's see what happens. You don't have any trade there. Even if you get a flag, you probably shouldn't be selling it now. You could have sold earlier, but there's no sell setup there now. Just leave it alone. We don't have any buy either. Aussie Swiss, you're getting a buy setup. Simple, very clear buy setup. Nothing else. Right? And it's a good trade. And you're getting a perfect buy setup. It's a good trade to take. Okay. This was a buy setup. It goes. This is a buy setup to go. Aussie Yen, you had a buy setup here, which went very nice. You're probably making another one here. I could see the possibility of another one making here and then go. Aussie CAD. This is the only one that broke out here and didn't go very far. And as a matter of fact, right now, it's making a sell setup. Right now, this is looking more like a sell setup for downside, right? This looks like it's going to go some more down. How far down this is going to go? Well, I wouldn't go with the sell, because I don't think it's going to go very far down. If they do go down, they might just break this low and go back up. We don't have a buy setup right now, so we'll have to wait on the buy. If we're trying to buy this, we'll have to wait for the setup to be the buy. We don't have that as yet. Aussie, New Zealand, you have a buy setup. Pretty simple. They're making a flat. This was a running flat. There's a series of smaller running flats here. There's a regular flat here. Can this drop? Maybe, but I don't think they'll drop. We're looking for the buy. If it is going to drop, let's assume let's say I have an entry order to buy here, and this drop like that. No big deal. Give me a flag, confirm the sell. because it can drop like that. You jump in the trade there and then you watch it do this. I can show you one where that just happened. I think you even saw it, but you missed it. If I ask the entire community, tell me which one has something very similar to that. I doubt any one of you can go on the spot and tell me, but look, it's a Swiss. See this? See that sharp move up? What happened? Drop right back down. So go back to where we were. Aussie CAD, was it Aussie CAD? Aussie Swiss. This one, Swiss, Aussie, New Zealand. So you see it could drop right here and go straight back up. So don't jump into the candles until you have the setup to give you the guarantee you can get break even if you're wrong. Euro pound coming down still, it will probably go some more. It started to slow down. You might get a trade. I think when we were here, we said that trade would take you to the low, which was, I think, a couple hundred pips or so, about 100 plus pips to here. And there's probably going to continue to go like this. And then we should see the upside, right? You could still sell it. You might get some nice small trade setups. You can take it into 15 minutes, for example. If you get some nice flag under 15, with a 15-minute risk to reward, you can take the trade. It's worth it. Euro yen. Okay, so we broke that top and it's taking off aggressively. If you haven't seen the long-term video I posted yesterday on all the yen pairs, please go watch it. It's only 30 minutes. Watch it and share it. And keep it because it's important. I did one of that earlier in the Aussie. Go back and check that one as well. All played out perfectly. Now, those are just long-term forecasts to give you an idea of where the chart is going to go. So when you're trading in the hour, you will have an idea. And we did this in the long term. And we see where it's going. Now, this broke out much more. Remember, we thought it would tag the top and come back because it was going corrective. One of my traders did ask and said, well, it looks like we're going to go slowly up and this might be the correction. I said, okay, let's wait and see. And sounds like he's correct about that. This being the correction and we're going up slowly. But on the bigger structure, if you're going to go way to the top here, then my thing is, okay, let's wait a little for it to break out. Wait for it to make a flag here now and then go. Not a 60 minutes flag. Let it give us a 4-hour correction now. Let this here give us a 4-hour correction. Confirm a 4-hour impulse, and then we start a buy. Right? Because if you try to buy there, you might still get a running flat, which is what I think it is. So why do I want that 4-hour correction? To negate the possibility for a running flat. Once that happens, I would say, okay, great. The running flat is not coming. So let's trade it to the upside now, right? We're expecting this to come back here, then go. That didn't happen. Let's see. Euro Swiss. Still going sideways and still looks like it's going to come down. So there might be a chance for this to drop here now. Now that we have 2 flags in the making. We have a correction. There's a flag in the making. Well, you have one that we're just breaking out of right now. This one. So that might be a sell setup. It's not moving very fast and it's not moving very far. Euro Oz, keep selling. You're getting another sell setup here. I think you're getting another small running flat. That should be a sell setup. Euro New Zealand. Well, we've got to look at this piece here now because you've got 1 pullback, you've got 2 pullback, you've got 3 pullback. So we've got to check to see what this is. Is it still downside as a more complex running flat, or are we trying to go up from this point? So if it is downside, you can put an entry order to sell. That would make sense. As a running flat, that would make sense. If it is trying to go up, you will not be tagged in the sell, or if you get yourself tagged in the sell and it starts to pull back, you would have to work on an exit strategy to exit the trade because then it could go there. It's not a buy setup as yet. There's no buy setup on it as yet. Right? Even if they're planning to go up, we don't have the buy setup. Let's say you're looking at this. I'm thinking, well, could this probably go up one more? Right? Let's just assume you're looking at this and you're thinking, well, can we actually go up here one more then drop? Right? Based on the structure. Yeah, it's possible. I think you can see what I'm showing you that is possible. But we don't have the buy setup. So what we will go with now, I'll take this off, is we'll go with the sell setup for now. And if the sell drops, then that will negate the possibility for a buy. Right? That will exclude any possible buy setup. So EuroCAD, sell setup, you're getting consolidation here. So this is still a sell. You're getting a consolidation. We will tag this line. See? We thought this one would drop and tag it, but then they went back and they still came down. It's just making a more complex pattern. So you have a sell setup there. Let's go back to the 4 hours, why we want that line to be tagged. I think it's pretty clear. We'll expect them to tag this line and then go back up. Pangos, 4 hour, you can see the consolidation. 1 hour, you can see it better. Still a consolidation, still looks downside. Right? Still looks downside, but now I'll be very cautious. Just make sure when you take the trade, watch this. When they break this, take your profit or move your stops. Because if they start to channel like this, they will just drop here and do this again. If they drop through the channel, you'll be okay. So just move your stops. But it's a sell setup. I like the idea. As a matter of fact, I could see putting an entry order here as not a bad risk to reward trade to the downside. I would consider putting an entry order here after we finish the webinar. I'll probably put an entry order there. That's what I would do. I don't know what you would do. Pang Yen, it went up a little more, but this was a buy setup. We've started to get buy setups from here when we broke out. It's moving. We'll watch this stop here. If it breaks this, then we could be expecting a much more higher move to this top. Until we break that top, it is still possible they can come back here. Right? Look at this one, for example. See that? It didn't break the top. They dropped right back down. So unless and until we break that top and consolidate, not only break the top, we wanted to break the top and consolidate, which means break this top and consolidate here. Then we will go for this. But if it wants to drop, this is a place from where you can drop. So let's see if we still get that drop. Go back to the 4 hour. This move is still slow. Nobody has changed that. Just the last piece in it has moved fast. And that doesn't really change the structure as such. So right now, you're not going to buy unless you get a consolidation here again. Then you can go for this last piece of trade. Break the top. You may want to move your stops very tight because after that, it could drop or it could continue to go back or make a deeper correction. Tang New Zealand, we're looking for the sell. It's still going up, right? This is still going up. But as long as we see this possibility here, as long as we see this pattern like this, this could still come here, go back up, or break out. See? But we're looking for this trade here. We're not buying this as it stands right now. Can that change? Can it just take off like this? Well, we'll buy something else with that same possibility of going up, either sell in New Zealand or buy the pound with that possibility, or buy one of the other pound trades that has a buy setup and wait for the sell on this one. And the buy setup is on the Swiss. So you're getting a buy setup on the Swiss. You bought this. If you bought this, you can put another buy entry here. It comes back here. If they all go up, they do this. What if they all drop? You would not be in the Swiss, but you would be the pound New Zealand. So can they all drop? Let's go back and look at the pattern and tell me what we think. So when we were here going up slowly, we said, okay, they might crawl up slowly, but they'll crawl and break this top. And once that top is broken, we're anticipating them to come back here. Now, they can keep going up until they get to this top. That means if we get buy setups in it, we will take it. We will take all the buy setups on the pound Swiss. There's also the monthly chart that's supporting the upside. So we'll take all the buy setups on this one, but we will take all the sell setups on this one. See? Pound CAD. It will probably go up, but we don't have a buy setup. I still think they're going to go break this top, just like the Swiss. I think they're going to go break the top, and then we'll look for the sell. You don't have a buy setup there right now. New Zealand yen. Okay, we keep going higher. Let's see. Oh, we still have a possibility for a running flat for this one. See this? To come back. So if you start to see anywhere in here, you start to see a sell setup while this is going up, we'll go for the sell. Do we have a buy setup, which means a continuation of what they're doing right now? Yeah, we do, actually. This looks like a small running flat. And that means just like the New Zealand dollar, this could still go somewhere. But if I have to buy this or I have to buy the New Zealand dollar, I'll buy the New Zealand dollar, not the New Zealand yen. Although there's a yen in it, I'll still buy the New Zealand dollar because we still have this piece hanging out there like a possibility for running flat. See this? Come back. They do come back very often. So I'll be on the cautious side and take the New Zealand dollar. New Zealand Swiss, just going sideways. And if you keep going sideways like that, you eventually go down. If it keeps going sideways like that, it will eventually make a down move. Wait till let's see what is the bigger picture. Oh yeah, we could get one more move here. And then we'll probably see whether we want to look at that as a running flat. That possibility exists. So one more downside is there, and then we'll see what happens from there. New Zealand CAD, it's consolidating, but it's more upside. Right, this piece here is starting to look more upside. Breakout here, go back to the top, and then from here you'll see whether they come back or they go. Either they take off from here. But it's a buy setup. Short-term buy setup, long-term, I think it's still a buy setup. CAD yen, you may want to watch yesterday's long-term webinar for the CAD yen forecast. We're in this big corrective move and we are coming to the top of it. So I'm going to show you very fast. If you didn't watch yesterday's webinar, you should watch it. And again, watch it and share it. It's very important so you don't miss these moves. Look at this correction. They go up, right? Look at this correction. They come down. Look at this one. They come down. What do you think this is likely going to do? Do this? Maybe. I don't know what the chart is going to do. Maybe, but I might not be in a buy until I get a correction. So for me to get a buy into this, to stay with a buy in this for long term, is I want to see this make a big correction here and most likely break the top and then make that big correction to go. Because here you'll probably find small flags to break the top. If they break that top and then make a correction, I'm in the buy. It's a longer term upside. If it starts to drop from this point, I'm selling. Any flag I get here in the 60 minutes is a sell for me. Let's go back and see what the 60 minutes flag should look like for the sell.
Anil, you mute.
Sorry, guys, I accidentally mute myself. Yep. You will get this one. That's your first one. Then you will get this one. This will be your second one. You see you can't get break even in these trades. So if you get tagged here and you put that to break even, look how it ran away. And then you put this one to break even, it's not coming back to take you out. See, they just keep going. This is where you would put these to break even. And when you see this small one, you would assume that it's going to go, it pull here and come back and it do this and it do this. You said, okay, this is a bigger correction. Get the hell out of it here. By the way, we did that. That strategy of exiting the trade at that point, we have it. We do that in our trading room every time, right? Where to exit and how to exit. So come back to this. We just want the same thing to happen, only now from this point, right? If we see that, we'll start sell. The selling will start. Let's go. CAD Swiss, of course, we want to sell this. Let it go break the top. So we'll take this off. We're expecting an expanding flat there. Seems like we're going to get more of a up move first, break the top, and then come. I'm not interested in the buy. But as soon as that top is broken, we'll go for the sell. Just do it like this. And it's 1 second daily. Yep. As soon as that top is broken, we're going for the sell because we're looking at this pattern here. Come here and then give us this trade. See this? That's the trade you want. Go to the 1 hour. Go here. By the way, if you've come this far in the webinar, I think it's worth me giving you a little secret. If I'm looking for the sell and this thing go up, I'm not worried. The trolls might come and say, hey, look, he said it's going to go up, go down, but it's going up. And I'm like, so? It has nothing to do with me if it's going up. I'm not interested in the buy. That's what I said. I'm not saying it cannot go up. I expect it to go up a little more. I'm expecting it to go just a little more. And I'm expecting it to come only to this level. But if it does that, okay, I'm not in the trade. Good. Congratulations if you're in the buy. I've seen this thing just break that up and reverse. So I'm not taking the chance because there's no risk to reward in that trade. As it stands, based on my analysis, there is no risk to reward for me. See? Swiss yen. We broke the top. There's a reason we're looking for them to break that top. Because this is the structure we're looking at. Come on, why it's not squeezing anymore. This is the structure we're looking at. I'll have to put it in a weekly for you to see. And if you get one move up, one move down, and one move up in an impulse like this, there's a high probability that somewhere here this thing will stop and drop. Now, it has to break the top first to tell us that that is a flat pattern in the making, right? Now, that piece is completed. Now, the only thing you have to wait for is for this to finish what it's doing. You have to wait for that final one to finish what it's doing. And I think you can see we're starting to get divergence telling us it's about to finish what it's doing. Can it go more? Yeah, maybe. This was an up move. Take this out. It's a bigger one. I think we'll go with this pattern. If you get a big correction there, let's say you get a 4-hour correction here, you can take that trade. It's going to be one more impulse up. Take profit immediately. You get another flag, take that trade, take profit immediately. Because any one of these could reverse. But it can continue to go more because it could go all the way to the top. You guys know how corrective structures work. I hope you know. Because this C wave could come back all the way to this top. We're not expecting it to do that. But some people like to trade fibs and they would fib it and hope that it goes to the 786, which is all the way to here, or the 886. Now, I don't think we're going to go that far, but it can go, which means if it continues to go and you have setups to buy, you will buy. But once the top is broken, every buy becomes a risky trade, which means take profit immediately. That's all. Knowing this, having this knowledge, equipped with this knowledge, warns you of how you're going to trade. It's not stopping you from taking a buy. It's just warning you of the caution of knowing what could happen. Like this one is still going up, right? Remember, this one was called way inside of this chart. Let me go back to the 1 hour so you're going to see that, right? We call this buy from inside here, and we're saying it's going to go out, and it could go all the way to the top here. So you can still buy, short-term buy. You're getting another buy setup here. Here's another buy setup. See that? That's another buy there. How far is it going to go? Is it going to do this and then go back, or is it going to do this? You will manage your trade, but it's a buy setup. So you can put an entry order here easily. I would put an entry order there. I keep saying you should, but forget it. When I said you should, I mean in general, not any one of you in particular. That's a trade we're looking for. US oil, just like this one, you had a flat. We're now getting a corrective structure here in the making. Right now it's made this small one and it's making this one. I think we could still make another one and then go. Could this take off? It can, because this could be a very small flat. It's a very small flag. Or it could be a much bigger one. This could be a small flag and this could go. Or you could go sideways here, come back here, and then go. Like you did in this one, right? One, go sideways, come back here, and then go. I think we'll get a bigger one here. It's up to you how you trade it, but it's more upside. And the same thing here. This one is even better. This one is kind of like really flat, which makes it easier for you. You just want it to come back slightly here, and then that's a good trade. That's a perfect trade setup. Can you put the entry order in now? Maybe. Natural gas. It's going up, but I wouldn't like to buy it in this piece like this here. All right, so let's see when it breaks the top here. If they come back here and then go. That would be a perfect running flat for upside. Keeps going. You get a flag buy. They're making another flag here for a buy. Yeah, you're actually getting a small flag here. That's a buy setup. You should be getting the same thing here. Small flag buy setup, same thing you're getting here. It's not moving very fast, but you can take the trades. they're starting to move slow, and that means it might not go very far from now. DAX, perfect buy setup. See that? You got a perfect flat here, and that's more of a contracting flat, or running flat, and that's a buy setup. Right? You can see it. It might be some kind of a running flat, depends on whether you break the top or not. I don't know whether the top was broken. Maybe not, so you can go with contracting flats. AU 200 still upside. This is not quite a flat or a flag, that's just a little pullback, but wait for a bigger one, then trade it, or trade it now with a bigger risk. I mean, a bigger stop on it. Nifty, kind of crawling up, so if you flag you get, you can take trades. And if you get another flag here, could be another trade up, and then we'll see what happens there. Tesla, okay, it dropped a little more, but it's still trying to go up. See this one yesterday, I think we had this yesterday. Maybe not, we had this one yesterday and they dropped. So wait for this to go up, make a flag here, and then go for the trade, at least back to this top. And from there, we'll see what pattern we're having. Amazon, still going nowhere, right? We're still in this consolidation here, whatever that is. So this should come back to retest one of these two lows, and then we will decide which pieces we're putting together for pattern. Let's see if it comes back. Maybe don't trade it, but wait if you get a sell setup, take the trade, or just wait. SLR, more downside, more flags, more downside, same here. More upside, more flags, more upside. You're getting here. See? Getting another flag there. Probably it could come like this and then go. That could be a short running flat there, possible, and then upside. Reliance, leave it alone. Bitcoin, consolidating. So I think we've got the downside here. You've got this flat. This one is pretty corrective. Can we go with this as the running flat? I think that makes sense for the running flat. This one here. Because you've got a big correction here. We wanted this to come down, and you've got that, you've got this. So I think if you get a correction here for a buy, you can go with a short-term trade. If you want to buy it to the top here. Why is it a short-term trade? Because if this thing goes like this very fast and start to drop, it doesn't matter where you have a stop. They will take you out here, wherever the first drop stops. So if you want to buy this, you have to be careful and decide, well, do I really want to buy it? We will still keep an eye for this. I still don't think it's fitting with this, so we'll keep an eye and see whether we get that in the future. XRP, coming down, but very, very slow. As a matter of fact, if it keeps going down like this could still go one more up. Right? If we keep making that pattern, we're going to go one more up. ETH, sorry. Yeah, this looks like you're going to get a buy setup here. And that is only this piece, because this is the downside. I could probably see this in the more complex pattern here. Yeah, I could see this forming a more complex pattern here, most likely small expanding flat like this. For upside, that makes sense. Let's wait and see. LTC. Nothing. If it comes back in here and consolidate, then you might end up with a big flat here. There is no trade set up today. And I think that's about the last one we did. Yep, that's about the last one. Those are all the charts we look at in our trading room. Right, we've got some very nice charts here that we look at in the trading room. Most of my traders trade all those stuff. Not everyone trade everything, but some of them trade it. So we keep them on. So once again, thank you guys. If you've managed to come to the end and watch the webinar to the end, that's great. Please like, share, comment, help someone else see it, right? We will Thank you to all the YouTube viewers. You can also share it. There's more than 1,000 of you. With 1,000 of you share it to 1,000 more people, that would be amazing. Right? So see all of you tomorrow. Take care. We'll share it for the next 2 weeks. Right? So take care. Bye.